Just before noon on Saturday, Coppers Cove police found 31-year-old Shasmine Clack, who had been shot at a home off Anderson Avenue and Tanner Drive.
"Mom's been shot. Please help us." A 13-year-old boy's voice shakes as he screams into the phone. Behind him, his 4 younger siblings are crying. Their mother lies on the floor, bleeding. Gunshots still echo in their ears. It's February 1st, 2025, and 5 children just watched their father shoot their mother to death. 31-year-old Shasmine Clack had finally broken free. After years of dealing with a jealous, controlling boyfriend, she'd ended things. Just 2 hours before her death, she posted on social media about how happy she was to have her freedom back.
Every day I'm learning that the real flex is just being in love with yourself and ignoring the world and knowing that you the shit.
She was ready to start fresh, to focus on her kids, to live life on her own terms. But her ex-boyfriend, Alonzo Hunter, couldn't let her go. He drove over 150 miles to confront her. He accused her of cheating with a famous rapper named Finesse 2 times. The argument got heated. Then he pulled out a gun. But here's the question that haunts this case. Was Shazmine really involved with this rapper? Or was this just a man's deadly jealousy spinning out of control? Welcome to Crazy Dark Files. Right now, there are mothers like Shazmine who are trying to escape dangerous relationships, completely unaware that their decision to leave could cost them their lives. If you want to help spread awareness about domestic violence and keep cases like this in the public eye so that real change can happen, then please like this video, share it, and subscribe to this channel. Your action now could help save someone who's trapped in a similar situation. Drop a comment and let us know what state or country you're watching from. Now, let's get into Shazmine's story. She was 31 years old and a mother to 5 children. And when I say she was a mother, I mean that's who she was at her core. Everything she did was for those kids. Her sister Chantel said it best. The kids. That's what mattered. She loved her kids. It was all about her kids. But Shazmine wasn't just a mom. She was the kind of person who would give you the shirt off her back if you needed it. Chantel described her as a very kind and giving person who helped a lot of people. If you were struggling, if you needed someone to talk to, if you needed help, Shazmine was there. She worked as a tarot reader in Coppers Cove, Texas. She used her gifts to guide people through tough times, to help them see things more clearly, to give them hope when they felt lost. People trusted her. They came to her when they didn't know what else to do. But Shazmine had her own struggles too. She'd been in a relationship that wasn't healthy. A relationship with a man who was jealous, controlling, and dangerous. For a long time, she stayed. Maybe for the kids. Maybe because she hoped things would get better. Maybe because leaving felt impossible. But finally, she did it. She ended the relationship. She chose herself. She chose her freedom. On February 1st, 2025, just 2 hours before she was killed, Shazmine posted something on social media. She talked about how happy she was to have her freedom and independence back. After everything she'd been through, she was finally free. She could breathe again. She could focus on her kids without the weight of that toxic relationship dragging her down. Imagine how that must have felt. After years of being controlled, of walking on eggshells, of dealing with someone who made her life harder instead of easier, she was finally out. She was looking forward to the future. She was ready to start over. Her family and friends were happy for her. They'd watched her struggle for so long, and now they could see the light coming back into her eyes. The real Shazmine was returning. The kind, generous, loving woman who put her kids first and helped everyone around her. But that freedom would cost her everything, because the man she left couldn't accept that it was over. He couldn't handle the fact that she was moving on without him. And on that Saturday morning in February, he decided that if he couldn't have her, nobody could. Shazmine's story is a reminder that leaving an abusive relationship is often the most dangerous moment. And for her, it was deadly. Now let's talk about the man who killed her. His name is Alonzo Hunter. He was 27 years old and from Beaumont, Texas, about 150 miles away from where Shazmine lived in Copperas Cove. He was the father of Shazmine's youngest child, which meant he would always be connected to her life in some way. But Alonzo wasn't just a co-parent. He was a problem. He had a criminal record. In fact, at the time he killed Shazmine, he was out on a $15,000 bond for an assault charge. He'd recently gotten out of prison and was supposed to appear in court on Monday, February 3rd, just 2 days after he murdered Shazmine, to face that assault case. Think about that for a second. This man was already facing charges for hurting someone. The system knew he was violent. He was out on bond, which means he was supposed to be on his best behavior, staying out of trouble while waiting for his court date. Instead, he committed murder. According to people who knew them, Alonzo was extremely jealous and possessive. He didn't like the idea of Shazmine talking to other men. He didn't want her to have her own life. He wanted to control everything she did. And when Shazmine finally broke up with him, he lost it. There were rumors going around, maybe Alonzo started them himself, that Shazmine was involved with a rapper named Finesse 2 times. Whether that was true or not doesn't matter. What matters is that Alonzo believed it, or at least he used it as an excuse for what he was about to do. He couldn't accept that she had moved on. He couldn't handle the fact that she was happy without him. That social media post she made about her freedom, that probably pushed him over the edge. Seeing her celebrate being away from him must have made him furious. So on the morning of February 1st, Alonzo got in his car in Beaumont and started driving. It's a 2.5-hour drive to Copperas Cove. That's 150 miles. That's a lot of time to think. A lot of time to turn around, a lot of time to cool off and realize that whatever he was planning was a terrible idea. But he didn't turn around. He kept driving, mile after mile, closer and closer to Shazmine's house, closer and closer to a decision that would destroy multiple lives forever. This wasn't a crime of passion. This wasn't a split-second mistake. Alonzo had hours to change his mind. He had plenty of chances to pull over, take a breath, and go back home. But he didn't. He kept going because he'd already made up his mind about what he was going to do. Some reports say that when he got to Shazmine's house, they argued about money, maybe as little as $250. But let's be real. This wasn't about money. Money was just the excuse. This was about control. This was about a man who couldn't stand the fact that a woman had the nerve to leave him and be happy about it. Alonzo Hunter drove 150 miles with one goal in mind. And when he got there, he made sure Shazmine would never be free again. What happened next would change 5 children's lives forever. It was a Saturday morning in Copperas Cove, Texas. Shazmine and her 5 children were at home on Tanner Road, near Tanner Drive and Anderson Avenue. It was supposed to be a normal day, a safe day, a day where Shazmine could enjoy that freedom she'd just gotten back. But around noon, everything changed. Alonzo Hunter showed up at her house. After driving all that way from Beaumont, he was finally there. And he wasn't there to talk calmly. He wasn't there to co-parent. He was there because he was angry, jealous, and out of control. The confrontation started almost immediately. Voices got loud. According to some reports, they were arguing about money, maybe $250. But anyone who's ever been in or witnessed a toxic relationship knows that the argument is never really about what it seems to be about. The money was just the surface. Underneath, this was about Alonzo's rage that Shazmine had left him. This was about his jealousy over the rumors about her and that rapper. This was about his need to control her, even after she'd made it clear she was done. Shazmine's children were in the house, all 5 of them. They could hear everything. They could feel the tension building. Maybe they'd seen their parents argue before. Maybe they knew something bad was about to happen. Or maybe they thought it would blow over, like arguments sometimes do. But this time was different. The argument got worse. Alonzo's anger kept growing, and then, in a moment that would haunt those children for the rest of their lives, he pulled out a gun. Gunshots exploded through the house. Her children started screaming, the kind of screams that come from pure terror, the kind of screams you never forget. Their mother, the woman who loved them more than anything, who had just fought so hard to give them a better life, was lying there, shot multiple times, and the man who did it was their father, the father of the youngest child. In the middle of all that chaos, Shazmine's 13-year-old son did something incredibly brave. While his younger siblings were screaming and crying, while his mother was bleeding on the floor, he grabbed a phone and called 911. "Mom's been shot, please help us." His voice was shaking, but he stayed on the line. He gave the operator the information they needed. He did everything right. At 13 years old, he had to be the adult in the room because the actual adults had failed them all. The Copperas Cove Police Department got the call and rushed to the scene. When officers arrived at the Tanner Road residence, they found exactly what that brave boy had described. Shazmine was on the floor with multiple gunshot wounds. She was still alive, but barely. The officers immediately started life-saving measures. They did everything they could to keep her alive. Paramedics arrived and took over, working fast to stabilize her. Every second counted. They loaded Shazmine into an ambulance and rushed her to Advent Health, Central Texas in Killeen. The medical team there did everything in their power to save her life. They fought hard, but the damage was too severe. The bullets had done too much harm. Shasmine Clack died from her injuries. She was 31 years old. She had 5 children who needed her. She had finally gotten her freedom back. She had her whole life ahead of her, and now she was gone. 5 children lost their mother that day, and they had to watch it happen. Think about what that means. Think about what those kids saw, what they heard, what they'll carry with them forever. The oldest one had to call 911 while his mother was dying. The younger ones had to watch their father shoot their mother. They'll never unhear those gunshots. They'll never unsee that blood. They'll never forget the moment their whole world fell apart. This wasn't just a murder. This was a family destroyed. This was childhood innocence stolen. This was trauma that will last generations. And for what? Because a man couldn't handle rejection? Because he was jealous? Because he thought if he couldn't have her, nobody could? Shazmine fought so hard to get free, and in the end, her freedom is what got her killed. Before we continue, I need to pause for a moment because this case is heavy. And I want to hear from you. Have you or someone you know ever dealt with a dangerously jealous partner? What are the warning signs people should never ignore? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your story could help someone watching right now who's in a similar situation. It could be the push they need to get out before it's too late. And if you're finding value in this coverage, if you think Shazmine's story needs to be heard, then smash that like button. It helps us bring awareness to cases like this. It helps the algorithm push this video to more people who need to see it. Now, let's talk about what happened next, because Alonzo Hunter didn't get far. When police arrived at the scene, they had a house full of traumatized witnesses. Shazmine's 5 children. These kids had just watched their mother get shot. They were in shock, crying, terrified. But police needed to know what happened. And these children were the only ones who saw everything. Can you imagine having to answer questions from police officers right after watching your mother die? Having to relive those moments while you're still shaking, still hearing the gunshots in your head? That's what these kids had to do. And they did it. They told officers what they saw. The investigation moved fast. The children identified Alonzo Hunter as the shooter. He was known to Shazmine. He was the father of her youngest child. Officers knew exactly who they were looking for. And here's the thing. Alonzo didn't run far. He didn't try to flee the state or go into hiding. He went to the Comfort Suites Hotel in Copperas Cove. That's right here in town, not far from where he'd just committed murder. He checked into a hotel like he was on vacation or something. Police tracked him down quickly. When they showed up at the Comfort Suites, Alonzo didn't put up a fight. He was arrested without incident. No chase, no standoff. He just gave up. Maybe reality was starting to hit him. Maybe he knew there was no point in running. Or maybe he just didn't care anymore. On February 2nd, the day after Shazmine died, Alonzo Hunter was formally charged with murder. The next day, Sunday, February 2nd, he had his arraignment. Justice of the Peace F.W. Bill Price looked at the case and set Alonzo's bond at $500,000. That's $500,000. The judge clearly saw him as a serious danger and a flight risk. But here's the part that really gets me. Remember how I mentioned Alonzo was already out on bond for an assault charge? Well, he was supposed to appear in court on Monday, February 3rd, just 2 days after he killed Shazmine, to face that assault case. He was already in the system for violence. He was already supposed to be staying out of trouble. Instead, he committed the worst crime possible. The Copper's Cove Police Department released a statement saying, "On behalf of the Copper's Cove Police Department, we extend our sincerest condolences to her family, friends, and all those affected by this tragic loss." Lieutenant Baker confirmed that Shazmine's children are now with a family member. At least they're safe now. At least they're with people who love them. But they're without their mother. And that's something no family member can replace. The investigation is still ongoing. Police said they won't be releasing any additional information at this time. But the main facts are clear. Alonzo Hunter killed Shasmine Clack, and now he's sitting in jail where he belongs. While Alonzo sits in a jail cell, Shazmine's family is left to pick up the pieces of a life that's been completely shattered. Her sister Chantel has been speaking out about who Shazmine really was, and every word she says is filled with pain. The kids. That's what mattered. She loved her kids, Chantel said. It was all about her kids, and now those kids don't have their mother. 5 children, 5 different ages, 5 different personalities, but all of them share the same nightmare. They watched their father kill their mother. It's just a lot starting all over without their mom, Chantel said. And that sentence hits hard because it's so simple, but so true. Everything is different now. Bedtime routines, school mornings, homework help, scrapes knees, bad dreams. All the little moments when a kid needs their mom and she's not there. She'll never be there again. The family set up a GoFundMe campaign to help with funeral expenses. The goal is $7,000 because on top of dealing with grief and trauma, they now have to figure out how to pay for a funeral. That's the reality of sudden violence. It doesn't just take a life, it creates financial stress for the people left behind. But the community has shown up for Shazmine's family. Friends organized a balloon release on Sunday, February 9th at 3 in the afternoon. It was held near Tanner Drive and Anderson Avenue, right where Shazmine lost her life. People were asked to bring pink balloons and candles, pink balloons floating up into the sky, candles flickering in the afternoon light, people standing together, crying together, remembering a woman who gave so much to others and asked for so little in return. The community rallied around the family because that's what communities do when tragedy strikes. They bring food. They donate money. They show up to balloon releases. They leave comments on GoFundMe pages saying, "I'm so sorry for your loss." They do what they can. But here's the hard truth. None of it brings Shazmine back. No amount of pink balloons will make her walk through the door again. No GoFundMe campaign will let her tuck her kids into bed tonight. No community support, as beautiful and necessary as it is, will erase what those children saw. Shazmine's family will carry this grief for the rest of their lives. Her children will grow up without her. They'll graduate, get jobs, maybe get married and have kids of their own, and she won't be there for any of it. Every milestone will have a shadow over it. Every happy moment will have a piece missing. And the trauma? That doesn't just go away. Those kids will need therapy. They'll have nightmares. They'll struggle with trust and relationships. They'll carry the weight of what they witnessed forever. This is what domestic violence does. It doesn't just kill one person. It destroys entire families. According to reports, Alonzo accused Shazmine of being involved with rapper Finesse 2 times. These rumors were going around, and whether Alonzo started them himself or heard them from someone else, he clearly believed them. Or at least he used them as justification for his rage. But here's the question everyone keeps asking. Was Shazmine actually involved with this rapper? And here's my answer. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if she was seeing someone new. It doesn't matter if she was talking to other men. It doesn't matter if those rumors were true or completely made up. Because Shazmine had every right to move on with her life. She had broken up with Alonzo. She didn't belong to him anymore. She never belonged to him in the first place. But that's not how abusers think. To them, their partner is property, something they own, something they control. And when that person tries to leave, when they try to be independent, when they try to be happy without them, that's when abusers become most dangerous. That $250 argument? That was just an excuse, a reason to start a fight. The real issue was that Alonzo couldn't accept Shazmine's freedom. He couldn't handle the fact that she was happy without him. He couldn't stand seeing her move on. Shazmine's social media post about her freedom was probably the final trigger for Alonzo. Seeing her celebrate being away from him, seeing her talk about how happy she was to be independent, that must have sent him over the edge. She wasn't just leaving quietly, she was publicly happy about it. And he couldn't take it. So he got in his car, he drove 150 miles, and he made a choice. Shazmine had finally broken free. She'd done the hardest thing a person in an abusive relationship can do. She'd left. She'd chosen herself and her children. She'd chosen peace over chaos. She'd chosen freedom over fear. And Alonzo Hunter made sure she'd never be free again. That's what jealousy does. If this case affected you, if Shazmine's story hit you hard, then please share this video. Her story needs to be heard. Someone watching right now might be in a similar situation, and this could be the push they need to get out. This could save a life. Hit that like button if you want us to continue covering cases that matter, cases that aren't just about shock value, but about real people and real issues that we need to talk about. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss when we upload. We're covering cases every week, and your support helps us keep going. And let me know in the comments, what do you think should happen to Alonzo Hunter? Do you think the justice system did enough to protect Shazmine? Should he have been out on bond in the first place? I want to hear your thoughts. And remember, if you see something, say something. Don't wait until it's too late. Don't assume someone else will step in. Be the person who speaks up. Be the person who saves a life.